Happy Friday, guys, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Dubs. I'm your host, Bill T. Well, another week, another podcast, and this week we've been busy at the SEMA show, just getting a bunch of videos. Not a lot of video, not a ton of Volkswagens there this year, oddly enough, at least air-cooled. There's a handful of them out there, and hopefully I've got most of them covered that were there. But we'll be talking about SEMA show on the next wrap-up or on the next podcast roundtable. So we'll be discussing the SEMA show and thoughts and impressions and what we saw. In addition to that, in 2 weeks, I will be at the Mecum auction, and we'll take a look at some of the stuff that's there. So that'll be some video content coming out where I'll walk around, take a look at the Volkswagens that are up for auction. We'll kind of discuss what we think they'll sell for, and then we'll review the final results as to what they went for. We'll also discuss just the ins and outs of some of the different things that we see for sale. Any things that's of interest with pertaining to Brazilian buses, stuff like that, which is, I'm guessing, what I'll probably see there. There's for sure a few Brazilian buses and whatnot that are on the docket for next week, and we'll be reviewing that. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so that way you don't miss any YouTube content that comes out, in addition to other videos that we're putting out every now and again. I'm a one-man army, so I do what I can for you guys to get you some cool VW content. And don't forget to go subscribe to George's YouTube channel. My brother George has a YouTube channel where he does a lot of technical stuff, how to replace this, how to do that, from steering box raises to swapping out your trans, adjusting. He's working on adjusting carburetor video, but he's got quite a few videos up now, so make sure you guys go and subscribe to George's YouTube channel. It's called The Wagon, so there'll be a link down in the description below that you can click on and check that out. Wanted to give a shout out this week to Daniel Nelson. He picked up some merch from the store, and I appreciate him support. He says, Bill, keep up the great work. We appreciate you for supporting the podcast. And if you guys want to support the podcast, go to letstalkdubs.com, select on the merch, check on the merch tab, and you can see the products we have available. I'm gonna work on the website a little bit, get a little more user friendly, make it look a little bit more appealing. I've got some sweatshirts out now that are on the page 2 or page 3 of the merch tab, so I'll get the store a little more organized so you guys can see what's there and available. Other things coming up, a lot of things happening with Impy in respect to getting that 1914 that I'm going to get from those guys, long block. We're going to do a video with George on swapping it out, and to show you what's involved with the motor swap. In addition to, I'll take it to my buddy's shop. We'll run on the dyno, see what we get out of that 1914. Again, it's not a race motor. It's going to be a reliable running, driving motor, but, we're going to check that out. So I'm excited for that. Don't forget to support the people that support your favorite podcast, Let's Talk Dubs. Ross Wolf, high performance, quality aftermarket parts made by enthusiasts for enthusiasts. Check out their website today at rosswolf.com. They've got a ton of cool stuff if you're looking for bus dash repair pieces or rear deck lid hinges for your bus. They make them out of stainless steel. They're super rad, really durable, and tons of cool stuff they make, from the velocity stacks to the jet covers. If you can find it, you want some jewelry for that car, man, go to rosswolf.com. Also, go subscribe today at vwtrendsmagazine.com. Back on the scene after a long hiatus. Just got my last copy of VW Trends Magazine about a week ago, and some cool stuff in there. My buddy Austin in there with his car. Hard work and dedication pays off, and he's a good cat. So tons more podcasts coming up. This week's podcast is Chris Goddin. Chris has a Ghia that you may have seen on the cover of Volksworld magazine, green late model Ghia, did all the work himself, a phenomenal build, custom 3-piece alloys, a rad car. And I got to meet him at the Air Mighty show, and we had the opportunity to catch up and talk and just get his story as to how he built the car. He's built a few cars before, so check it out. It's a good podcast. Again, it's the enthusiasts that are out there doing what they're doing, and super cool car. Great guy. Got to meet him and his son there at Air Mighty. So it's a great podcast. Check it out. Do-it-yourselfer, super slick, green Ghia, home built. This week, Chris Goddin on Let's Talk Dubs.
You probably don't know that there's a new Volkswagen out that doesn't look like a Volkswagen.
Okay, everybody. So on today's podcast, I'm here at the Air Mighty show here in Holland, and as I'm walking the grounds, there's a lot of cars out here that I've seen. Most of these cars that are here are brought here by invitation that they've been seen at the other car shows throughout the year. And on today's show, so you may be familiar with, if you're from the UK, you might be familiar with Chris Goddin. He's had 63 Ragtop featured before in Volks World magazine, and then he's got a nice 73 Karmann Ghia out here, late model Karmann Ghia, sitting on air with some three-piece Fuchs, custom-made three-piece Fuchs, and I saw it. It caught my attention at Volks World, and I wanted to make sure I sat down with him today. So on today's podcast, I want to welcome Chris Goddin. Chris, welcome to the podcast.
Nice to be here.
So you're out of Wales, which is the northern part of
the wet part.
The wet part, right? No sun, no any of that stuff, right? Out there near where rthe is at, right?
No, rthe is high. He's not Wales. He's England, but
he's further north.
Yeah, a lot further north.
Rains even more.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got your Karmann Ghia out here, and it's a super cool Karmann Ghia. Totally nice. One of the most impressive things to me is you did pretty much this whole car on your own, as far as a lot of the paint, bodywork, and all that. You had the '63 Beetle that you had previously. Enjoyed that, got rid of it. And then you decide you want to switch gears and build another car.
Yeah.
Well, we do this on the podcast all the time. What's your VW story, and how did you get into Volkswagen? Let's start there first.
VW stories. Loved the Beetle. In '89, when I was 16, bought a Beetle. It was a '64 Beetle, which is sort of big elephant backlights, bubble back valance. Sort of did that up. It was so rusty that if you'd left the keys in the ignition and locked them in, you could have reached through the floor panels and got them out, which cost me like £380. Did all that up, put early wings on it, early backlights.
So it was a 74 or 64?
That was a 74.
Okay.
Yeah, so it made it look earlier. Cal look, no bumpers, smoothed off. Did away with the chrome. Then sold that, went on then to a 72, which was I de-seamed, which was a big job. After I'd done about 6 inches, I thought, oh my god, this is,
so you when you
what
say
have I
you,
let myself in
when
for?
you say you de-seamed, like you got rid of the rain gutters in the car?
Yeah, rain gutters right over over.
Yeah, that's a hard job.
That was
because a lot of people don't realize the rain gutters where the roof and the body and the side panels clamp together. So as you shave that, you've got to weld it back up to keep the roof together.
Yeah, it was
that's a job.
After about 6 inches, I was just like, what did I start this for?
Yeah,
but committed and did it, and did that in an orange, and just got into the scene and loved it. Absolutely loved it.
So you're pretty hands-on. You don't have any fear of kind of getting out there, getting dirty and doing some body work and.
No, love body work, love everything side of it. The only thing I've never delved into is the inside of a gearbox.
Yeah. So motors, all that stuff, you build
motors,
all that stuff?
Yeah.
Now, let's talk to me about the Ghia. You know, you have a late model Ghia, which not a lot of people get a late model Ghia, and I really like the way that that it looks and the way you did it. Tell me about the story of the Ghia you have here today.
So originally I wanted a Ghia. When I got back into the scene back in 17, I wanted a Ghia, but they were a bit pricey, so I bought the '63 Beetle then, did that, and then a Ghia came available, which I bought, which was a 73. But I liked the earlier look. But the more I looked at it and sort of knew about it, and it was only a couple of years they did the later model Ghia, I sort of fell in love with that then. Big bumpers. There's a metallic sort of lightish green one, which is quite on the scene, which is quite nice. And just thought, I do like it. And it just grew on me. So originally I was going to change the bumpers and put the earlier bumpers on it, earlier smaller lights, but sort of fell in love with the later look.
And you and I talked about this for a few minutes out by the car. You know, Pookie's Dream, which was one of the squarebacks that was really popular in the 90s, that was a 70 squareback. You know, it was a late model squareback, big taillights, big bumpers, all that stuff. And it really, I think if you build the car right, it looks good no matter what it is. You know?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Which is kind of the situation with your car now. What was the condition of this car? And you brought this car from California, or it was already here?
I bought it off someone who brought it in from California.
Or so they say?
Yeah, no, it was. It was a good. It was a solid car.
Right.
There wasn't a lot of welding to do. Battery area, a few little spots here and there. It had a lot of scrapes. The nose was a bit battered, as they all are. There was one sill on the passenger side, when it was left on drive, which was all dented and scraped.
Now this car, I mean, overall rust and whatnot in the condition of this car was, because the picture you have, it looks like you had a lot of work to do on this thing.
Yeah, so we just stripped it down into sandblasting, and then start building it up and getting the dented bits right. And
the color on the car is from?
The color it's from a Mercedes color, which I bought the paint. Which I like the color. I thought it showed the curves of the car very well.
Yeah, because it's got is it a metallic in there?
Yeah, metallic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a sharp looking. I mean, it's like a emerald green is what I call that color, like an emerald green, and it kind of on the darker side of green, but really a nice heavy flake in there.
And then Porsche actually brought a color out just after I bought the paint, which was similar color, which I would have probably gone down that route, being the Porsche theme with it.
Right.
It's got the fuchs, it's got 914 clocks in it. So I probably would have gone down the Porsche.
And interior-wise on that car, the front seats are out of
Scirocco.
So out of a newer Scirocco.
Yeah. And then deleted the headrests.
So you deleted the headrests. Are they recovered?
Yeah, it's a complete recover inside. The headlining's leather. All the seats have been done leather. Door cards leather, and then all leather around the engine and the front wires.
So firewall inside the engine compartment's all leather and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And then the motor in it is what?
2332.
Who built the motor?
There's a guy who built the long block for me. A guy from Chelmsford. Richard Moreno, his name is.
And this and your car sits on air, and it's pretty. I mean, a lot of you guys here in the UK do a lot more air on your finished cars. A lot of the finished cars in the States don't have air. A lot of the drivers have air, but a lot of the finished cars, like what we see here, and I'm here riding with Andy and all those guys over, and they've all got air front shocks, lift the front of the car up when they need to get in and out. But other than that, they lay them low and drive them like that. But your air system on this car, it's also manageable by your phone, and it's a pretty extensive system as far as the height on that car that gets up and down. What's the air system? Tell me about the air system on this car.
The air system is an air ride performance system, which is the 3P. So you can control it off your phone, or you've got a little dongle you can use. And then it's got a cantilever line bug rear end and line bug gold tops front with 4-inch narrowed beam.
And so you kind of bought the parts and pieces and put it all together. So you picked your own air management?
Picked that.
So you decided what air management you were going to use to control the car, and then you bought the line bug front and rear setup.
I like the idea with the 3P. You've got your settings, so you've got your drive setting, you've got your high setting, in case you need to get over stuff, and then you've got your low setting, and you can even set it like a low drive setting if you've got a real smooth road. Yeah.
And then with that car, what height do you drive it at?
I sort of drive it not far off full height. It's just slightly lower, so it's a bit comfortable, so you're not like full PSI bags.
And that car you've put some miles in that car since you finished it?
Yeah, I think I finished it in March. I was literally putting the door cards in on the Thursday, and then we were taking it to Volkswagen on the Friday.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it was, and we probably put about 1,000 miles on it since then.
So you're not scared to drive the car?
No, love driving it.
So your goal is to build it and then drive it, and use the car.
Where we live in Wales, so most shows are in sort of England, so we're always like 4 hours away.
Oh wow!
So I tend to trailer it to the shows. Just for because my boy comes with me.
I've seen the roads going from there to here. I would trailer it too.
So we did drive it. We drove it to one show, which was about 360, I think, round trip miles.
I mean, the Karmann Ghia is a little small, so if you got the wife and the kid, I mean, your kid's not. No, none of our kids are fit in the backseat of a Karmann Ghia.
They're just like, no.
Not unless they're toddlers, right? And then to try to pack stuff up to go to a show, you're bringing chairs, you're bringing shade covering, stuff like that, so it's not fitting in the Ghia.
Yeah, and I managed to get a 5-gallon tank where the spare wheel goes, and then got the compressors above that, so it's quite neat. And I got a bit of weight over the front wheels, rather than put everything in the back.
And it helps. That also helps with the lowering of the car, the speed of lowering the car too, is the weight. Because that's kind of that's the thing you see sometimes with people that put air suspension on a car. It takes a while for that front end to slow down because it's like it's got to get all the air out before the front drops down. But the 5-gallon tank, you've got twin compressors in a 5-gallon tank, so which allows you. I mean, I saw that when you were working the car and it was going up and down. It goes up and down pretty quick.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
You know, while you've got that air supply in there, it goes. I mean, I was noticing it didn't take. You didn't have to cycle it a long time to get the car back up and back down. You know.
Yeah, it held its air well, and it's you can go with a 5-gallon. You can do it a few times.
And the motor, you go. What's the specs on the motor?
It's a 2332. Mm-hmm. It's got CB wedge port heads. So it's
carburetors.
Carburetors to Weber 44s. IDFs.
And the cam that's in there?
It's a FK8.
FK, yeah. So it's a nice torque monster motor. Yeah. So the thing runs pretty good.
We put it on a rolling road, but we were sort of losing one of the cylinders after 4. It was a block jet, and it turned out to be. On 3 cylinders, we got 224 bhp.
No way.
Yeah.
224 brake horsepower on that car?
On 3 cylinders.
Wow.
No, 124.
I was going to say 224 on 3 cylinders.
No, 124 on 3 cylinders.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be about 170, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's great power. I mean, those cars with 50 horsepower cruise pretty steadily down the road without much issue.
Yeah, and it's all right to drive. It's not too racy. You can cruise with it quite nice.
Yeah, I mean, the car seems. What I like about the car is it's really got a good look to it, especially for the late model. You know, it seems that did you do anything on the bumpers? Anything different?
Yeah, so we tucked the bumpers in. The bumpers are tucked in about I think it's about just under 30 mil.
Yeah, because that's a little over an inch you've pulled them in, but I mean it makes a big difference on the way that car looks, you know, because the bumpers seem to be tucked a little tighter. It just got a good look for it being a late model Ghia.
Yeah,
it really looks good. I mean, the car's got the look, you know, and I think it looks fantastic.
We shaved the indicators off, put the indicator in the headlight where the side light would go.
Yeah.
So it's quite nice. On the gears, you've got the one logo on the side of the car, so we put twin logos on both sides.
Oh yeah,
that's another thing that sort of not many people pick up.
Yeah, and then the wheels on the car. Tell me about the wheels, because the wheels are like a 3-piece Fuchs setup.
Yeah, the wheels are 3-piece Fuchs, which I sort of was sort of working on and sort of producing. I did them for the Beetle, but then sort of COVID hit, so I was sort of going to produce them as a bigger thing, and just sort of COVID hit and it all just got a bit mixed up and stuff. So I sort of designed it. So I'm talking to another supplier now. So it's something, it's called Dogtown wheels. Mm-hmm. It's something that will be coming in the future if this new supplier can be.
So
the new fabricator then.
So did you have these wheels on your last car?
Similar, yeah. They were 5x205.
And this particular Volkswagen, or these particular wheels, so you had 5x205 3-piece Fuchs on the last car?
Yeah, on the Beetle, yeah.
And I remember seeing that. What magazine is that in? Where
it was in Volksworld, and it was in Volksmania.
Volksmania and Volksworld, because I remember distinctly seeing the 3-piece Fuchs on there and thinking. And then seeing that they're wide 5.
Yeah.
That was really a unique setup, and I thought it was. Now you had somebody machine those for you, or
Because I was looking at. Basically, I wanted to put a 17-inch wheel on. But so many all had 7x17s for the front.
Right.
And I didn't want to run a wide front wheel. Tire. And just looked and no one was really doing it. I think someone's doing it now in the States, aren't they? Where you can buy a Fuchs with 4.5 front.
Yeah, Impy started doing the staggered sizes, the 4.5 in the front.
Which you couldn't get back a few years ago. So I just thought, right, well, I'm gonna produce them and make them.
Well, what do you do for a trade? What's your?
I'm a sign maker and printer.
So you're sign maker and printer, and you just get into doing this.
Yeah. I have a passion for cars, and it takes over, doesn't it?
Did you buy some wheels and have someone cut them and machine them and all that kind of stuff for you?
No, I sort of designed them and said what I wanted. Went to someone that produces them, and they were going to make them for me then.
So they're custom made for that car. Yeah, it's a one set of wheels.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. And are they in Wales, that these guys, or they're somewhere else?
No, they're UK.
Yeah.
They're UK based.
So you just reached out to them and said, "Hey, I've got an idea for a set of wheels. I just need to know what are you going to charge me?
Yeah,
Here's what I want."
it was the one, this set and the other set. I've had three sets made, but it was a bit not hit and miss, but it was hard work. So I've spoke to a new company now, who's going to produce them for me. So we got a set being made now at the moment.
So is your plan to, once you get a set made and dialed in, that you want to sell these wheels?
Yeah, I will be. Yeah,
And and that's what you're going to be selling them through, is that
Dogtown wheels. Yeah,
Dogtown wheels.
Yeah.
You got a website and all that stuff set up for that
I've got
now?
a website. I've got a Instagram, which I haven't sort of pushed lately, but it will be coming back up and pushing. Yeah.
No, that's great, man. And anything that we can do to help you get that rolling, man, I'd love to see that happen, because I like being able to take things that are on the market, being able to mod them a little bit, customize them, and then if you're doing something like that, clearly you're not the only guy that's looking for something like that, especially with the VWs, because a lot of guys just narrow the beams. But every time you narrow the beam and you keep bringing it closer, now you've got less track width in the front.
Yeah.
So it affects the geometry of how the cars ride. I mean, it does a lot to change things. So, I like to see a full fender well, a car with the wheels all the way filled and fitted. You know what I mean? I'm not a big fan of the huge narrowed front end look.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
And so with the ability to take some wheels and modify them to where you can get the exact offset you need and have it look good and still function.
Yeah, so
I think it's
on the Ghia now, I'm running a 5-inch front and a 6.5-inch rear.
What size tires on the front?
165 45. Because I use the car quite a bit, I wanted to keep a bit of profile.
165 45 17s.
Yeah.
They have that here?
Yeah, Nankang.
Nankang, huh?
Yeah.
I got to find them.
And then a 195 45 17 on the rear.
And that's, I mean, and you've got red lines on them, but you did the red line on the wheels.
There was a company called Mr. Whitewalls in UK, in England, yeah.
I think it's great. I think it looks so good. And so this car, you've showed it, you've had it here at obviously the Air Mighty show. Now on this show here, this is by invite. They invite your car down here.
Yeah.
To the show.
Got an invite from Neil at Volksworld.
Nice.
To come, and it's it's a wicked show. Really.
I mean, it's pretty cool the way the setup is here. But how would you describe this show compared to, for some of our listeners that don't understand what this show, what makes this different than the other shows? How does this?
It's nice as an indoor show, which is not many are indoor shows these days. But it's just you've got space to look at the cars. Not everyone's walking around. A lot of shows in the UK, you can just go, you sort of park your car in the field, but you can have kids on bikes going next to it, and this is quite special. There's special cars here. It's a real cool. It's a super cool venue. Yeah, it's a lovely vibe, isn't it?
The aircraft hangar and stuff like that, and just the cars being set up. Some of them on a pallet. It's just a real kind of industrial look, but I like the layout. There's enough room to look at the cars, and it hasn't been like when I'm at Volksworld. It's jam packed. They've got so many cars in there, and the aisleways are so small, and you got 1,000 people going through there. There's not a lot of room to be able to take a look at things.
The aisles are a lot tighter, but it's a great show. Volksworld's a great show. This is a great show. First time I've been to this. First time I've been to European show.
Yeah.
And be coming again, definitely.
Yeah, no. And now you towed this here. Obviously, you had to tow this dude here. So you towed it, came across on the
ferry from Harwich.
Okay.
To Hook, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what we came over.
So we had like a 6-hour drive to the ferry in England.
Yeah.
And 7-hour crossing, and then another 2.5 hours this side.
Yeah. It's a bit of a haul and a commitment to the show, but it's good stuff, man. I mean, there's a lot of it's like the best of the best in Europe is here at this show that's on display. So it's got to make you feel good to have your car here for sure.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Just to be in the hall is it's an honor.
And especially it being a late model, right? A lot of people don't give late models the credit they deserve as far as.
No, that's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's another feather in your cap you can put there, just kind of like, and I did it with a late model.
Yeah.
So
I
think that's something to be excited about. The way that you've modded the car, it looks. You've taken away the things that make it look a little intrusive, the front turn signals, things like that. But, it's smoothing the front out, bringing the bumpers in. I mean, it looks. I really like the car. I think it's a good looking car.
Cheers, dude. Yeah,
and now this car is, you're getting ready to move on to another project.
Yeah, I got quite a few other projects. I got another 63 gear, which is nearly sort of done, which is pretty sort of standard, just lowered slightly on static. I got a 70 gear, which is just in sort of storage. I got a 54 right-hand drive UK oval.
Yeah.
And I got a 64 right-hand drive 21 window Samba.
Oh, wow.
Which was from Sweden originally. It's not a UK. It's from Sweden, an early one. Right-hand
Really?
drive. Yeah, that's it up with Irvs. But I had a bit of a technical hitch with so the garage I sort of rent where I do my projects. The landlord decided to sell it, so I had to buy it. Otherwise, I was going to be out.
yeah, you had to scramble.
So I had to, Irv was busy anyway, so he put it on hold for me for a few months.
Yeah.
So we should be getting back on it soon.
Oh, nice.
The bus, yeah.
Well, that's so you've got plenty of other cars in the works, and the one that's at Irv's shop right now, that needs an extensive amount of work.
No, it was bought as a sort of unfinished project, so it was done okay. I would say probably 80% of it was done, 80-70%. But the roof had lots of repairs on it because you couldn't buy a full BBT roof.
Right.
So it had the sort of sections welded in, which is a bit.
Didn't do a good job.
Didn't do a brilliant job. So that's going to be sorted out, and then there's a few of the sort of door closes and stuff that needed the gaps.
So
and I'd never done a bus before, and it was a bit sort of. So
a bus is big, long, flat panels. So there's
yeah.
a lot of work with doing the buses. Well, I'm excited to see what you got going on. So, and you also have this car available. So, if anybody's interested in this car, this car is for sale.
Yeah, this car is for sale. Didn't plan on selling it, but yeah, unfortunately,
you got to make things happen.
You got to make things happen. Yeah,
can't keep them all.
No, you can't. It's a shame, but
somebody wants to reach out to you. Are you on Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram, Chris Goddin. Yeah,
Chris Goddin on Instagram.
Chris.Goddin. Yeah.
Well, I'll put that link down in the description below. And the next car you probably plan on getting out first is the bus?
It'll possibly be the Beetle or the bus, but we're first doing my son's. He's doing a Baja.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What year Baja?
71.
A 71 Baja?
Yeah.
Nice. What's the style?
Just usual Baja style, just up, black wheels. It's going to be Bahama Porsche. Yeah, Bahama Porsche yellow.
Bahama Porsche yellow. And then what kind of Baja kit? The wide eye or the
wide eye?
The wide eye kit?
Yeah.
Nice.
So we're doing that, yeah.
If it's going to be anything like the Ghia, I'm excited to see it, man. So that'll be pretty. And
that's his first car as well.
And what's your son's name?
Zach.
Zach. So Zach's going to be mobbing around in a Baja, huh?
Yeah.
So Wales will not be safe.
And he'll be great in Wales because he'll be high off the ground, all that water.
Yeah. Is Wales pretty flat, or is there any hills and stuff out there?
Hills, yeah.
Well, there you go. So you get the
hills wet and stuck behind tractors.
Are you on the water over there or no?
Right next to the water, yeah.
Oh yeah, so you're like a beach buggy. I remember the video game, the video game Beach Buggy. I had it. What was it called?
Yeah.
This was called. It was a Volkswagen video game where they had it was a beach buggy and you could cruise on there. Yeah, maybe I'm showing my age, but yeah, it was a Beetle Buggin was the name of the game. Okay. Yeah, it's a computer game, and they had it was at the big game was based out of the UK, and it had a bunch of bugs racing down the beach. So
the photo shoot for the Beetle, the '63 Beetle, for Volkswagen magazine. They come down and we took the car, we took planks with us, got us down on the beach, and it was like sort of real sort of California sort of theme. Yeah, it was good.
Sun was out that day.
Oh, it was a Friday of August bank holiday for us.
Oh, nice.
So they were trying to take photos, but it was just crowds of people. It was
insane.
It was insane. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
It was good. Yeah, come on, good.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the next stuff that you build. I appreciate you making a few minutes to come here and chat with me about the car. And I look forward to seeing what you guys are going to build next.
Yeah, look forward to speaking to you next.
All right, brother. Thanks.
Nice one. Cheers, Bill.
If you like that podcast, and I know you did, make sure you share this podcast with a friend. Also, if you want a shout out on the podcast, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast or Spotify, wherever you listen to. Make sure you give us a review. Leave your name in the review. And support the podcast by going to letstalkdubs.com. Pick up some merch. We got cool new sweatshirts for wintertime. Wintertime's here. Get you some new gear. I'm coming up with some new designs this year, so be on the lookout. And until next week, guys, later.
You probably don't know that there's a new Volkswagen out that doesn't look like a Volkswagen.